We good for you? Call this meeting to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
Right, it's been moved by Council President Hanson, seconded by Council Member Renard to approve the agenda as printed. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passed. All right, consent agenda.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Renard, seconded by Councilmember Moon to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passed. All right, public comment.
You're welcome.
Okay. We didn't have anybody sign up tonight, so that might be a first. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a presentation about housing units at the Canron Edition under the management of Housing Opportunities, Inc.
Hello, my name is Callie Miller. I am the director for Housing Opportunities. We are based out of Great Bend. In November, we took over the management of the houses that are along, is it Hellenic Drive, so I understand? We took that over from a company called HRMS. They are actually based out of Missouri. We have heard that there's a little bit of kind of turmoil around that project, so we're doing our best to turn it around, get it where it needs to be. Some background on HOI, we have been in business since 1997. We specialize in low and moderate income housing. We build, own, manage, and maintain all of our projects. And then we have this project and one other project that we do not own. We just third party manage them. So we do not own this project. The owner is still the same. It's just a different company that is handling it. We handle everything from advertising, we screen the applicants, we rent up to them, we maintain the houses. We do everything in-house unless it's something that is specialized, plumbing, heating, things like that. I do have a general contractor on staff. He got to accompany me today. He kind of oversees our maintenance staff and we are able to do a lot more things in-house because we have him on staff. He is one of those that is a jack of all trades, master of none, but a jack of all trades. Can pretty much do anything. So that helps, and our maintenance staff is wonderful. They're able to do so many things. We're doing our best to get this project back to where it needs to be. I know that the previous management company was managing from about 7 hours away, so that I don't think that they were able to really manage it effectively. When we took over, we had 5 vacants. And we actually ended up evicting another one, so it ended up with 6. This project does also have 2 houses in Kannapolis, and it is coupled with 10 additional houses in Girard. If you don't know where that is, it's clear down by Pittsburgh. Why anybody ever let them do that, I don't know. But, so this project actually does have 24 total units. Now, this project is considered low income. So it is not income based, so we are not subsidized by the government in any way, but there are income restrictions that apply in order to qualify. This project does serve anybody who income qualifies regardless of age. And then we have set rent rates that we cannot go over. So we can't overcharge these tenants. We have limits that we're allowed to do right now. The max rent we have over there is $716. So and there are different income tiers. So not all of them have the same income limit on them. We have multiple tiers over there. 1, 2, I think there's 4 actually here in town. So we have a very, very low limit. And then we have one unit that is a little quite a bit higher. It's the highest limit possible, and then several in between there. So right now, we have, so out of the 6 that we did have when we took over by the end of December, we only have 4 left. So we're doing our best to get them filled. We're doing our best to make sure that we're managing them in the best way possible. We do screen our tenants. I know the prior management company did as well, but I can't speak to what their process was. We do check your background, your credit, and your landlord references. And we do have parameters that we require you to meet in order to be approved just on that piece alone. Did I cover everything? All right. Do you guys have any specific questions? Sorry, I'm sure there's lots.
I do.
Go for it.
Okay, previous to being on the council, I was the code enforcement officer for 3 years here.
Okay.
And, there were a number of issues. Primarily, it was, the landscape of the property not being kept up. And also a contact. I never did in all the time I was there, actually reach what was supposed to be the manager of the property.
Right,
They were like in Colby and Elkhart and Timbuktu. And
yeah,
every time I call, it would just ring and nobody would pick up. I'd end up calling Missouri. And then we'd have to have a chit chat and eventually things would get done. So, the first question is there gonna be, are the people that rent that responsible for maintaining the lawns?
yes, they are.
Okay, and if they're not rented out, it's vacant, who does it?
The property does, so the property itself would pay to have the lawns mowed during the time that they're vacant.
Okay, so, but if it's a vacant property, there's nobody living in it, who takes care of that property?
So we do, so we'll hire somebody local to mow it during the times that it's vacant. And we actually have been in contact with 2 local companies, and so we'll work with them to basically put out a bid award. Typically, we do 3 years, and then when there's a vacant unit, which unit it is, and then they should be mowing it consistently every 10 to 14 days. Or more if warranted, but there's no sprinklers over there. So 10 to 14 days is probably okay, but we'll keep an eye on it best we can. Right now, we're here in town quite often. About once a week, every 2 weeks at the most, basically, don't you say? Trying to get these units flipped and in an ability to be able to be rented to somebody. So we're keeping a pretty good eye on stuff, which is obviously not season yet, but we're getting close. So yeah, we'll have a company to do that, and we'll make sure that they're maintained appropriately, and then we do watch the tenants as well. In their lease, it does give parameters on how often that they are supposed to take care of the lawns. So we do our best when we're in town, if we see somebody that hasn't been taking care of theirs. Let them know, like, hey, you need to get this taken care of. If we have to take care of it, we're gonna charge you for it.
Do the people in the city hall have a phone contact number?
So Alan
Now we
does
do.
now,
Yeah, we do.
and all.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so our office is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We do close from 12 to 1. We do, however, also have an after hours number. It's on our voicemail system if you call us after hours. So if there's an emergency, there's always somebody available to our tenants to get in touch with us at all times, and we do answer the phone, so.
Okay. Well, that was things, just a lot of issues trying to get a hold of people to actually get something done. Also, here I believe when someone rents those places, they're responsible for their own utilities. And so, we do, try to keep an eye on water usage and stuff. So if there's a leak, somebody leaves something running, we're gonna catch it. So if we have somebody we can contact right away to make sure that things don't get out of hand.
Yep, yeah, so I mean, we just had one, we just handled it today in Great Bend, the city went to read the meter and they said, hung a tag on the door that said, hey, you probably need to check this. She gave us a call, I called one of my guys and they got there right away and found a toilet that was running, consistent. As long as we're notified and we're told about something, we're happy to take a look at it. It may take us just a hair longer to get here, than it does in our own backyard, but we're only 40-45 minutes away. So I mean, if somebody calls us, it may not be that day unless it's a huge emergency. There's, a geyser spraying out somewhere, but, we'll try to get here as quickly as we possibly can.
I know with the last owners or, managers, but, the guy that does hay, I think behind, there's, I think he does fish hay,
Water.
yeah. He had issues with, like, the property line, like, people putting dog cables, like for their dogs on his, you know, in his area, and then he's swathing at night and he's sucking up. So that was one of his concerns, is just making sure that the tenants know, like, their side of the, you know, like where their line is at, cause he's like, he had several of, you know, people putting things over on his side, and then he's coming in at night to do swathing and not seeing, and, you know, rolling up dog leash or dog cables and all that stuff in his swather. So that's one of the concerns, was just making sure the tenants know where their property line is.
Yeah, that may be something we'll have to look into, because I'm not sure we 100% know where the property lines
Okay.
are. So we'll probably have to, we would have to find them, but we could do something like put some stakes in the ground.
Clear back.
Is it? So.
Okay.
Put stakes in the ground, but if he has an issue, please just have him give us a call.
Okay.
We can contact whichever tenant it is that
Okay.
we're having an issue with. I believe we only have a couple of them that even have pets over there anymore.
Okay.
We attempted to do a no pet policy, unfortunately, we were running into people not wanting to apply for it, so we kind of went back on that. Have pets again, but yeah, if there happens to be any issues with that, please have whoever's having it, give us a call, and we will handle it to the best of our ability. There's some instances where it's become more of a civil matter, but we'll
Right.
do our best to try and handle it.
Right, absolutely.
And could you introduce your maintenance guy for everyone on Zoom?
So this is our general contractor, Bruce Riedel. He helps us build stuff. So in the past, HY built our own projects. The last couple of years, we've used an outside contractor, which freed up Bruce to have the ability to kind of oversee our internal maintenance department a little bit more. And then we're actually building a moderate income grant project for Stafford County. Right now, we built 9 houses.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're on our last one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're on our very last one. You sure he's ready to quit having to drive there?
When I met you in the hallways afternoon, of course, we emailed each other and introduced myself to you. He mentioned ownership. I mean, and you mentioned that at some point in time, if we could find land that work, there'd be a possibility of HOA doing
Yeah, we would love to. So we specialize in senior housing. A majority of what we do is senior duplexes. It gives fixed income individual have something that they can afford, get out of their houses with stairs, get out of their houses that they have to pay for lawn maintenance, snow removal, and just the upkeep of a home in general. And so that is something that we do specialize in. A few years ago, I kind of reached out to, I think, the Eco Depot director at the time, and that's where I knew that this project was a little bit of a sore subject for the community. And so when we got approached to potentially take over this project and help manage it better, I was like, that would be a great way for us to come into the community and get people to know who we are and what we do, and see that we can do something successfully and effectively. So our hope is that we can bring this project back so that there is no longer that sore spot in the community's minds about what low income housing is. Not low income housing doesn't necessarily mean that it's bottom of the barrel people or people that don't take care of things. It's just for people on fixed incomes or lower incomes that need something a little bit more affordable, especially in today's housing market. Houses are crazy. These houses that we rent are 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms with a 1-car attached garage. They would easily rent for over $1,000 anywhere. I'm not sure 100% what your guys' market is here, but $1,000 across the board at least. And we're renting them for $700 or less. $716 is what the most we're renting them for right now. So our hope is to bring a senior project here. That was my hope a couple of years ago when I made contact, but I know that there was a little bit of some turmoil regarding this project. And it would be using the same funding this project uses, but like I said, we would try to cater to, there would be more duplexes. They're 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom duplexes, and they do have storm shelters in them, which is wonderful. And they would cater 55 and older only.
Just so, I did a project with HOA predecessor of hers. After always the tornado, the city actually found the land and bought the land and donated to HOI to get the project going.
We've had several communities do that, and it's amazing. It helps the competitiveness of our application when we have that. We just built in Russell. We literally just had a ribbon cutting a couple of weeks ago, and they also were able to give us the land that they had in their land bank, so that was pretty great.
What's it's up to what, 10 units?
We have 36 units there now, so we have
Oh my
3
God.
projects,
Yeah.
and each
Yeah,
project
once
has
that
12
I
units.
left, okay.
Yep, so you have 3. So I think the second one we did probably started with you, but then got built when you left.
Right.
Yep,
I helped
and
get
then,
planned, yeah.
yep, and then the third one, we built. Well, I was there,
Oh, that's serious.
yeah, I was there, so sometime after 2014, we built that one.
The screening process, do we have face-to-face contact, or is it just done internet and?
It depends. Since we're so far away, we give them the option to meet us in Great Bend. That's what we prefer, so that way if there's an issue with the application, we can have them fix it on site. But some people, considering how far away we are and considering the demographic that this specific project targets, sometimes it does have to be done via mail or them sending the paperwork in, but we do require driver's licenses. And then we do the background, the credit, and the landlord check.
And assisted living, just asking,
Mhm.
you mentioned seniors.
Yep.
So there may be some seniors that need assisted living.
So ours are independent
Accommodations.
living. So there's nothing, we don't provide any assistance to them. They're independent living, but it gives them, we have no stairs. All of our senior units are handicapped accessible with wider doorways, wider hallways. And then each project has to have a minimum of 20% of handicap specific units. So we would have to have usually a minimum of 2 units that have the lower tile carpet like this. They have roll-in showers instead of walk-in showers, and then they have lower countertops. So all of them are handicapped accessible, but we do not provide any services with it. So it is full independent living.
So are you guys like going through and cleaning up, I mean, like fixing and repairing these out here and then trying to get them running?
Yep, when we took over, like I said, there were 5 units currently vacant, and then there was a 6th one that had a bit of a hoarding problem. That's putting it nicely. And so though, out of those 5 that were originally vacant, 2 are already rented. We've got a 3rd one that's ready to go and I believe has an application pending on it. And the other 2, one is partially ready and one they're gonna work on when that one is done. And then the boarding unit, we kind of have a hazmat group come in and have a huge deep clean, and then our guys will tackle that one last. There's still quite a bit to do in it, but we'll get it there. We'll get it there.
So are you guys like advertising in the community so people know that you're taking applications?
Right now, we've got for rent signs at the property, and then EcoDevo has it on their website. At this time, I have not done anything else, but it's on our plate to get done. Because we were trying to see how much traction we got just with the signs and with people knowing what's going on. So, and hopefully this will help too.
Right.
We do have 4 units over there as of right now that are vacant. We do also have one in Kannapolis, Minnesota. So we have 5 total in the area to work on, but yes, those ones were ready to rent and we took over. And so our guys have been working pretty hard on them the last few months to get them into a position to be able to get somebody in there.
Yeah, any more questions? Okay.
Thank you for coming. Thank you so much.
Need to let you guys know what we do, so.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Second to leave. All right, let's move on to unfinished business. A big goose egg there, so how about new business? Retiree health insurance policy.
Madam Mayor and council members,
Thank you.
we identified that we don't have a policy in place for retired employees for health insurance. Not a big deal. We've never had it though, but it's required by state law. So they got us a policy here and I recommend that you approve it. Not a big deal. The employee wants to stay on health insurance until they're 65. They retire. You don't see a whole lot here. I saw a lot of them when I was like in a larger city. We had a full-time fire department. And with KP&F, they retire when they're 50. So they would buy it and they're gonna pay a higher percent of the cost. There's no city, but it just sets the policy in place. That's all this does. We're leaving the state this way.
Okay, Madam Mayor, I move to adopt the retiree health insurance policy as presented.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Renard, seconded by Council President Hampton to adopt the retiree health insurance policy as presented. Any discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Establishment of the Ellsworth Municipal Golf Course Endowment Fund. Sounds very fancy.
So I'm gonna be honest, I just brought my card information because I forgot about that one, but we're gonna talk about it anyway. So this endowment fund, we have a gift coming from a private resident, somebody who's very close to the golf course. So they made this gift with the stipulation that it has to be used on clubhouse projects, because that's where they spend their time, that's where they. In this moment in time, we don't really have a large clubhouse project kind of in mind. We just did carpet 2 years ago, we just repainted 2 years ago. We redone all the lights in there, you know, so we don't have a large need for it, so. It was suggested to us by Colby Richard from Smoky Hill Charitable, I always get Foundation Fund, I always get that last word wrong.
Community Foundation.
Community Foundation, then maybe we put it in an endowment and. The great part about it, we do that, we get a 4,000 match right off the bat. I think those details are all kind of right there, and so I guess Alan, I don't know if we can just take it from here.
Well, you know, and when we discuss different options, we can put in different kinds of funds. We put one where we wouldn't get the 4,000, maybe have $10,000 and we could draw whatever we want to draw. Patrick said, I don't have a project coming up. So get another 4,000, 14,000. And then the earnings could be put in another fund with the Smoky. And we could draw on that down the road. So basically, I think those are 4%, I believe.
Something like that.
And so, you know, so every year you get $560 worth of projects. So in 5 years, he has $3,000 per thing. And that made sense. I like the idea, and Kobe, we talked about this. This way it perpetuates this lady's generosity. I mean, it'll be forever. And if somebody ever happens to the golf course, we read the document there, it goes to Smoky Hill. I mean, you know, they can, and then they're down as they have it. If golf course goes away, you don't anticipate that, but if it does, that's what would happen to it. We think Patrick and I think it's quite a way to go. It's just gonna be a project right now. And, you know, save that money, and then, like I said, 10 years, it's, you know, quite a little bit of money. And maybe you could do a project then, and that way you're just not throwing it away. And, you know, and it also shows, I think, everyone in the community that we appreciate generosity, but we're gonna try to do our best to spend it well, but also to memorialize or remember them, and, you know, ultimately at some point, someday with her case, you know, memorialize her forever, so. If the council agrees, we'd move with Kobe to get it all set up, and there may be some other thing, but we think it's the way to fly and the way to go, and you know, again, thank you for generosity, and of course, when that all happens, Kobe will make announcements, and again, encourage people that when you have extra funds, there's places to go for them, and we don't have to spend them. And I didn't want to put it straight with city money, because we put golf course money in, no, it needs to be protected, and that's the other advantage there is her funds will not be paid for pastor's salary, or paid by a salary in the case may be, or to buy fertilizer, or whatever the case may be.
Yep.
It's used specifically for her, and in the endowment documents, they'll have what purposes it could be used for, so it'll be all put in place, and we think it's the way to fly.
400% agree.
Madam Mayor, I think it's an excellent idea, and it just looks like it's gonna take care of itself, short and long term. So I would move to allow the staff to move forward with the Smoky Hills Community Foundation to establish this endowment fund.
I'll second that.
Right, it's been moved by Councilmember Moon, second by Councilmember Renard, to allow staff to work with the Smoky Hills Community Foundation to establish the endowment fund. Now, I have some questions.
Yes.
So, because this is with one individual's money, does that mean like general public couldn't like make a donation to the community foundation towards that, or?
Very possible.
Yeah, I think that's a very good possibility. I will double check with the donor just to make sure that they're cool with other people adding to the specific fund, but I would be surprised if that's an issue.
Cause I feel like that opens it up to grow even quicker.
Yes.
Yeah,
Great.
okay. Any more questions, any more discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Okay, purchase of new rental homes.
So this, I always call this a good problem when we outgrow our current inventory, basically. So on that front breakout sheet, I'm not sure exactly which page number that is in the agenda, but it looks like an Excel spreadsheet, basically. You can see the substantial jump we made from 2024 to 2025 in car rentals. Obviously the product of what we're doing and what people are enjoying about what we do. But it has also stretched us extremely thin on our resources, so we've gathered bids to extend our fleet from 12 carts to 17, which will hopefully make up for that gap. And then my kind of summary, there were situations last year where we had to rent carts from our pass holders, and although they're very generous to help us, that revenue comes straight in our pocket or right out the other pocket to them. And then, you know, busy weekends where we just couldn't handle it, we didn't have necessarily their carts at our disposal, we were turning people away, basically. For some reason, people don't want to walk. I used to do it as a kid, but I couldn't imagine doing it today, honestly. But so, like I said, to me, it's always a good problem to have when you're adding, not subtracting. So, in front of you, kind of some options. We've always bought our carts in the past. We've never leased in the past. The golf industry in general, kind of the general rule right now is you own your carts, you lease your equipment. I would like to own the carts first. It takes away the challenges of 5 years down the road, what we're gonna do with them, and it's just easier for us to manage them. Obviously, leasing is always an option. And we would operate them different under lease. For example, we would probably run the wheels off them. And make them not all that valuable in 5 years anyway. But, you know, so there's the options. Our last 2 purchases have been from Mason carts, which are Yamahas. We love them. They're fuel injected. The renters love them. They've been super easy to maintain. They're really easy to work on. They've been, other than general wear and tear, we haven't had any issues with the Yamaha carts. And not to say that we ever had issues with the Easy Goes, but the Yamahas have just been that much better. And so you kind of, all the numbers are there in front of you. Love to answer any questions or hear your thoughts on them. Our recommendation is to purchase the 5 carts from Mason Carts, which a little bit higher than the Easy Goes, but like I said, with the fuel injection, they actually they're much more efficient on gas and all those things, so they actually become pretty much even after a while.
Are the Easy Goes carbureted still, or?
For leasing, yeah, I mean, for the most part, yeah.
And you've got this in your budget, Patrick?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Patrick, on page 1 of this, well, on page 110, the round for last year, 35,308. Rough estimate, what were your expenses against that 35,000?
Well, just fuel and oil, cause you know, like I said, we've always purchased carts, so they're already paid for. So a Yamaha cart has a 4-gallon gas tank and it can go around the course 14 times, I think, on 1 tank of gas. And that's the fuel injection. Easy Goes probably closer to 10, same size.
Did you have your current rental rates on there?
I don't, right now we do 9 holes, $15 a rider, 18 hole is $18 a rider. We do offer some season longs out to our pass holders, which is $300 for the year, $450 for the families. And we have a few discounts for the pass holders, which we've pulled back a little bit. What used to be $10, but now we have something called peak time where they pay regular price, but you know, if we, honestly, if we hit the same, if we don't even grow $1 this year, we'll pay for these carts pretty much this year, so.
And you got a place to store them, right?
Yeah, we still have a little room down in what would be shed B on the east side of that, where we haven't rented out. One of the things when carts became legal on the streets in town was we actually rent less spaces in the sheds than we used to. So kind of a trade-off, but we find uses for that. Yeah.
And you would get them in time for,
Yeah, the target was, Yamaha thought they could have them here in April. I told them the target was May 1st, and so neither company thought that was gonna be an issue at all. And we would buy, we do plain white ones with a number, no fancies, just gets them around.
Madam Mayor, I propose to authorize the course superintendent and city administrator to purchase 5 new Yamaha carts from Massac Golf Car Company for the amount not to exceed $32,250.
I'll second that.
It's been moved by Council President Hanson, seconded by Councilmember Renard to authorize the golf course superintendent and interim city administrator to purchase 5 new Yamaha carts from Massac Golf Car Company for the amount of $32,250. Any more discussion?
The limited, 4-year limited warranty, that's for the new carts, or was that for the?
That's for the new
lease?
cards, yes. Yes.
Any more discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Patrick. Appointment to the CDBG Housing Rehabilitation and Citizens Advisory Board.
Madam Mayor, first we appointed two a couple weeks ago to this board. This is part of that CDBG project. And we found another volunteer, Michael Walsh, to serve on this committee. Of course, most of the work we've done this year, so of course, that group will make recommendations to the city council as far if there's any problems with the process and everything else, or if there's more applications than there is funds, and they'll work on stuff like that. So technically, there's a mayor appointment, so the mayor makes it. If you want to appoint someone else, you can't appoint him, but we at least found you a warm body. I think a decent one.
Well, we appreciate your work.
Or
That sounded rough.
Yeah.
I meant to say about a lot. Okay, well, then my appointment would be to appoint Mike Walsh to the, what are we calling him?
housing.
CDBG Housing Project Housing Rehabilitation and Citizens Advisory Board.
And Madam Mayor, I would move to approve your appointment of Mike Walsh to the Housing Rehabilitation and Citizens Advisory Board.
I second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Moon, seconded by Councilmember Bishop to approve the mayor's appointment of Mike Walsh to the Housing Rehabilitation and Citizens Advisory Board. Any discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Well, thank you, Mike.
Thanks,
We
Mike.
appreciate your commitment. Authority to award contract and commitment of city funds for Kansas Department of Transportation project number that Ellsworth Geometrics Improvement on K 156 in Council Drive.
Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, council members, this is the project that Council Drive I've been talking about for a couple of years. And I actually, my memo was difficult because I found out tons of stuff. And maybe when I got here a year ago, I should have listened to the city staff and what the administrator. Because we were going down the wrong road. A year ago, right after I got here, we had that meeting with Mr. Kevin Cowan. And to start a process to do temp notes, because it was being told that the city would have to pay all the bills and then get reimbursed at the end. And last year, when it was passed, the former deputy city clerk and even others know, so like, when you can start, they go, no, we're not gonna call Kevin up, because I don't wanna start giving money until I need the money. Well, so this came out and I started going through the documents, that KDOT, it said, we write a check for $48,000, I believe it is, we just write a check for $48,000. And we're done. And so, did a lot of checking. Thank God we didn't borrow the money, because we'd have had, last year, because we'd have paid $50,000 of interest. You had no money, so don't need the money. And then we also found out that all the bills for preliminary engineering that we paid for out of city funds, we're gonna get 95% back. So made contact with KDOT last week, and I put the number in my packet. Yeah, the estimated cost of engineering was $107,000. But it didn't hit that high, it's probably gonna be in the mid-80s. There's one bill coming yet, so we're basically gonna get $70,000 back. And that's just another other funded, because Angela and I were talking about money and where we put stuff like that, and she's worried very about it, and it should be. But we're fine with that. So basically what we're gonna do tonight here is, KDOT opened bids on the 18th. They had two bids, one from Venture Corporation, great bid for $813,525. And the other from Apex Shears for $1,034,110. They recommend that we approve Venture. I agree, I've been with Venture before, plus our engineers have worked with Venture before too. So if you go to that webpage, you're gonna have all the costs put together, the total comes up to. Get that all in there today, no, it's, the total,
814.
yeah, 814 plus then engineering costs and everything else. And yeah, we'll have everything be good. We were at checking $48,000 now. So basically, we need a motion to approve that we will accept the bid from they accept the bid from KDOT for $814,405. And then also to go ahead and to authorize city staff to write a check to Kansas Department of Transportation for $48,000. And they rounded off a little bit, so they round up to $48,000. The only way we will have to pay more if there's a change order. You know, this project's pretty clean and simple. There is no utility to be moved. It's pretty simple. Now, everybody always hates change orders, and so do I. You get change order. Well, somebody did a bad job. No, it's not, because if you look at tally sheets for bids, you know, it's like so many square feet or so many linear feet. It's, you know, when they get done with the project, maybe it's 5 feet more. You have to have a change order, or it's 5 feet less. You'll have to have a change order. So when we say the word changeover, engineer didn't screw up, we didn't screw up, nobody screwed up. It's just a matter, we will pay exactly. You know, on the bid sheet, I had it in the packet, I didn't. But on the bid sheet, it had that, you know, if you do something that's so much a linear foot, well, you will pay for that price per linear foot times the units. And so I always tell people, you may get a change order, I don't expect anything big. And you also gotta remember going back to last summer, because this year K 156 from intersection of 140 to the Barton County line is gonna be redone, no overlay, okay? And they're worried about this piece here. So KDOT says, you have to pay for it, and I go, no, we're not. And 2 days later, I got, you know, paying KDOT up the maximum amount. We paid 5% of that extra work, but they, you know, so not a big deal. They upped it up a little bit, so we're in good shape, bids are under, costs are under. The project's gonna cost the city, well, plus from the engineer, $5,000, so the project's gonna cost the city about $52,000, give or take. Because if you're a town of our size, you get 95% grants from KDOT, so it's a great deal, gonna be a great improvement there. I think it'll add to the safety. I think it was last summer when we were doing a field check up there, I was up that day. And actually Angela's son was trying to make a left turn off of 156 to go to the east there to the EMS place, station. And a trailer came through, and it was lucky. We were standing right there because we were talking about when it was gonna get bid, and we said to the kid, says, we're gonna bid this tomorrow. Well, no, they couldn't, of course, but you know, I think it'd be great improvement, I think great for the community. So the costs are a lot less than you ever thought, you know, no interest costs, no carrying fees. Go write a check for $48,000.
So where does the 70,000 come back to us from then?
It'll come back from KDOT. So we wrote the checks to Benish for preliminary engineering.
Okay,
KDOT will reimburse us for 95% of it. And I think as of last week, the bill, it was in that 70,000 range. 77,000, yeah. And so it'll come in a little cheaper, so it's all good. Yeah, we've been billed 78,675.32, and we're gonna get 95% of that back, which is quite a bit of money.
And where does that money, does it go back to the general fund?
It'll go back to the
Department?
no, that actually went, we have the capital outlet, capital improvement fund, so it'll go back in that fund, where it came from.
Gotcha.
This is all good, just, you
Yeah,
know,
oh, yeah.
I feel bad about this. the problem with KDOT is there is some grants, like we did the downtown project, you had to pay it all, got money back. There's other ones not, and I've had all of them. I had a project that was a 2.4 million project. And I was gonna get 2.1 back, and I had to wait. It was about a year and a half after it was done, so you write a lot of money, but. Again, it's part of the cost of it, but when you don't have it, it's wonderful, so. All good in the world of KDOT and in this project, I'm guessing they'll start construction sometime in April, May. So now during the construction, I think I told you in my letter notes before. The east entrance to Casey's will be closed. Which of course gives you a little bit of problem with the motel and the restaurant there, they have to come in from the south. And that'll all be maintained and how to get through there. You know, I'm actually surprised that KDOT allowed the east entrance case to begin with because of the closeness of 140. But it's there, but it'll be closed for probably as long as 2.5 months. So, just one of those things we work with, one of those things I need to work with, so. All good.
Russ,
Whoa,
do you need an elevator speech of what we just talked about, or?
no, I'm good, I'll just
Okay.
frame this one.
Madam Mayor, I move the city of Ellsworth approve the bid of Venture Corporation of Great Bend, Kansas in the amount of $814,405. And commit funds to authorize the payment of $48,000 for the city share. For Kansas Department of Transportation project number 0027 KA 727. ACSTP A727301.
Second.
That's a barrel.
No, you know. Please.
All right, it has been moved by Councilmember Bernard, seconded by Council President Hanson. To have the city of Ellsworth approve the bid of Venture Corporation of Great Bend, Kansas in the amount of $814,405 and commit funds to authorize the payment of $48,000 for the city share for the KDOT project number. It's in your packet. Any further discussion? Okay, and note that Russ Allen will be abstaining from this vote, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
Don't trust me, it's a good deal. So.
Okay, looks like we have one more item on new business. City finance and projects discussion.
Okay, Madam Mayor and council members, of course, before I realized that we were getting the money back and all the costs there, I did start reaching out to Kevin, give him a bell. We've had discussions in the office, I'm trying to, and we are getting the packet together, a lot of projects underway, but there's a lot of moving parts here now. But we try, and of course, we don't need that kind of money right now, but you gotta realize that. You approved to have Call Valley come in there and take a look at the project on Third Street and Prisker Park. We have some matching funds to put in for the one airport project that's already been funded, and the other one has been applied for. So I visited with Kevin a little bit, and we started the process last year. We can do some of that moving forward. We may be talking to Kevin about grouping that all into a 4-year temp notes. And then spread some things out a little bit and get the city through that. My concern, of course, is what's all being talked about property tax at the state right now. And I'll give you a report after a while, but it's a target that's moving every second. So we have to worry about it. It might be something we're gonna look at. And in fact, I've talked to Foy this afternoon. We may want to look, as we have a problem with the stoplight at Third and Douglas. Something about the county things on, and more than likely you can't get parts. Okay, so do we get a small project there to look at? And maybe, because we've also been replacing the lighting downtown that we own, 2 LEDs and everything else. So we're gonna be thinking about those, putting them packaged together. Nothing tonight, but we're gonna continue to do that because. Now with the money we're getting back, that 71,000 put back in that fund, we have a little room. But we also know that, the one estimate for the box culvert was $400,000, give or take. And it depends on what you do with the sewer line. Of course, that'll come up with different fund, and we can use stormwater funds, and we're just balancing all that right now. But we're gonna need some money, and we can't wait, that project needs to be done, but I mean. It really convenience for a lot of people that live up there, so, we put something together to get on there, we'll give you more, I just want to at least fill you in a little bit that, you know, that work we did last year is somewhat gone with Kevin, they paid for, but we're gonna be able to use a lot of it, so it's all working out, and, find out where the funds could be, and maybe get it so we can budget through those things. You know, no doubt about it, property taxes, I'll mention later on, are the hot topic in Kansas right now. And I've told you we're not gonna limit of it, but you know, just when we cut property, tax, cut what you do. And once you cut what you do, you can't really cut police, you really can't cut fire, fire behind, of course, and I'll report that in a second too, but, we just, you know, it's all part of the process as we, you know, try to get us financially. Well, we're financially sound, but get us what we pay, get the projects done, so. So the reports, we haven't forgot about stuff, and we're moving forward.
Great.
So Mr. Dingle, this will be done during your reign, or does this overlap?
It's gonna be done before I leave.
Okay.
I gotta get my butt in the ball and get it going too, so I can't leave, but
Okay.
Mr. Holden hostage.
Okay, well, let's move on to department heads. Okay, how about Patrick? You got anything else for us?
No,
All right. Police chief,
ma'am.
water sewer department.
I'm Dave Hubble with the water department. I don't know if anybody been told that we have another well that went down. Number 5 well, but it's supposed to be worked on possible. If we can get back up there, and they're working on number 10. Since this bit down, they're working on number 10, but it might be fixed to take it and get it running again, so. That's all I had for that. Just thought I'd let you guys know.
So how many wells are left?
Huh?
How many wells are left? I mean, that are running,
Right now,
2.
we're at 370 to 380 gallon. And we're used to getting anywhere from 450 to 650. So,
Is this a plug for water conservation? No matter the time
Not
of year.
yet. I told it is first half, I'm not ready to,
I didn't think we ever let it off, really.
we still have it, and of course,
never did.
Or we have to be like hand washing, taking shorter showers. I mean,
We're not
water
down to that.
conservation doesn't
No.
have to be just in your yard, but.
No,
we're not going to.
I still think that is a good practice. You
Yeah.
don't need to be running the water while you're brushing your teeth.
right, but no, we're not that.
So apparently.
Yeah,
I might have watching.
we're not that.
Okay, there we go. So.
Disgust.
But hopefully.
Lindsay's doing her part.
Dave, the last time you came up, you talked about something electrical, you needed some lighting. That need to be repaired or something.
We need to put lights out there.
Yeah, we need to get some.
I'm not ready to pull the trigger yet, you gotta get some more stuff going.
Yeah,
And we got, as I'll for a second, that go down, but, BG is starting to do the title.
yeah, they did it today, they were all
Okay.
out there today, all day,
Hi, which goes, what is the number?
4 and 6.
4 and 6, yeah, tie them together, that way they're more usable. That was one of the projects we approved this morning, so.
And, yeah, that'll definitely help us too, if we can get those two tied together, be able to use those two. And, cause they produce at least 200 gallon a minute each, so. Yeah, the lights is just something that we're gonna deal with until we can get everything else. Yeah, it's beautiful.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
All right. Paul, do you have anything for us?
No,
Thank you for being here.
sorry about being late at parent teacher conferences.
No need to be sorry. City clerk's office, city clerk?
Yes, we finished up the spring cleaning week flyer today. That will be April 27th to May 2nd, and that information will be released a little bit closer to the time.
And Alyssa Council has a problem with paying the charge for tires like it did last year, which means they take them out where it's cheaper to the other places. And we had 40 tires last year instead of having to bill for a few $1,000s for the tires. It worked well. People paid in advance. It was a great thing. And their city I know did a cleanup last fall. They took tires and they ended up with a bill of about $50,000. And they're not taking tires this year. And again, people, if you just leave your tires with, when you buy new tires, just pay the dang fee and get it over with, So, and keep it locally.
Anything else, Mrs. Lindy?
I will be at the CCMFOA spring conference the rest of this week, and I thank you for the opportunity to go.
Have a good time. Okay, interim city administrator.
I do have a few things out of there, thank you. The chief didn't say this, but within maybe a couple of weeks, we'll be fully staffed.
I didn't want to put the cart before the horse.
We're getting close, we made some offers, got them coming, we're going through testing and, I'm very positive though. And I'm real pleased where the police department's going right now, hopefully the public is seeing it as well. And we can move forward with that, so we're excited about that. Audit is tomorrow, Adam Brown is here to do the field work, they can do it in one day here. Angela and their staff have been sending them tons of stuff for months, so they come here to do the follow-up work, on expect any surprises, so, and I've worked that firm for it in their life. Been following, as you know, the property taxes of the state. 46 or 2745 HB was heard in the Senate now. This came out of the House, amended, they're gonna amend it back. What's gonna look like by the end of this week, I have no idea. Everybody's hooked on property taxes, and of course, even I think Senator Schallenberg from Southeast Kansas made the comment that, state is basically funded by income tax work, but also sales tax. Sales tax are inflationary. As the cost of goods and services go up, sales tax revenues go up. If you buy a gallon of milk for $3, $4, you pay more sales tax than you bought it for $3. I mean, just simple facts. You don't have to have property taxes, and the growth of it. And Kansas is appraised the way they are. They still want to keep the revenue neutral rate, which is some are sold on it. Senator Tyson is sold on it. There's just, and R&R is, I got the idea behind R&R, keeping property tax and everything else. But I own property, I own a little property in Brooks County that I got an R&R statement last year. They had to set out because my taxes went down. Okay, does that make any sense in the world? That's the R&R, they can't separate that, we're not gonna send Alan a letter because this is going down. And one year I got a letter because it was going up 48 cents. And I wasn't gonna protest that, but it's just the stupid stuff out there. Been working with the league a lot about as we know it, the bathroom bill. Of course, there's more to it, the driver's license, and with Chris, Attorney General's announced that he's not gonna enforce, that law became law on February 26th. But apparently the AG is gonna hold off a month to do that. Not the problem, and I'm not gonna worry about all the driver's license thing. Ours is the bathroom, and the league had a nice seminar going through it. Maybe our only problem is the locker rooms, because they both say locker room. We need to one say male, female, and we're probably gonna need to work with the school district because on the night they have a girls' basketball game and team A uses one bathroom, we're gonna have to put a sign that says, now, and we'll work that the league is coming with a lot of samples, so we are trying to address that. Where you have one single bathroom, we have no problem. That was a little worrying early, but like at the police station, we have one bathroom. As long as it locks, we don't have to put a sign on it that says anybody can use it. It's just the bathroom there. You lock it, that's where the signs. But if it says men, only men can, you know, like only males can go in that room, if it says female, only females can go in there. So during the basketball game, even though they're not using it for maybe, bathroom reasons, since they're going in the room, we need to probably adjust that. The fine is 25,000, so I don't like that. And again, you have some time, I just think we need to be a leader, we'll be there on that, so I think everywhere else, we're in probably pretty good shape, but just, you know, the league did a pretty good job, I was worried about porta potties, but they're fine. Because we have porta potties coming for different events in this parks and everything else, so it's on city land, so we have responsibility, so. I think we'll look at that. Did have some conversation with, emails with Kevin and Joe Ellsworth. On the NRP Neighborhood Revitalization Program ends this year, they're rewriting it. And I gave some suggestions today because I don't think he was doing it right, now we do that with the NRP, and of course, you know, if you build new properties. You know, on our NRP covers the whole town, in fact, state law is probably gonna change that 8 town under 10,000, you could do the whole town. Because I live in the city of this size before I made it a little larger than this, not much so. And where our city attorney argued that new housing, in like where I'm gonna build, is not eligible for an RP. Because you're not revitalizing, we do it here, but the state law is gonna take care of that now, so encouraging builds and everything like that. So, mentioned the water issue that they're here now, so, our BG started to work on it, so we get those tied together, making progress. You always gotta remember when we do projects, because we've gotta make sure we have money. And I'm adamant about that, we worry about things like that, so we continue to monitor those things, and next meeting, I'm probably gonna bring to you I will bring to you ideas, because we have to address sewer rates again. I know people hate the sewer rates going up, but you know, we are committed now to paying back basically $8 million over a 30-year period. And to do that, we have to generate about $38,000 a month. That means 38,000 more than we were doing, because in fact, your sewer rates were so low, they weren't covering operations. Water was covered a little bit. So they're gonna go up, they're gonna go up next year. And, you know, we probably won't make the first payment on that loan until probably 28, 29. But let's don't wait, I mean, it'd be easy for us to say, so you're gonna be off the council, but then they're like, just let it wait, yeah, no, that's wrong. And so like, yeah. It'll still be in it, so yeah, we'll take it, but the bottom line is, we have to look at it. I think we have to get real, you know, one thing that I've tried to, the staff is, think about tomorrow, it's not about today, it's how we develop budgets down the road and everything else. Hope to make progress. And yes, I need to get some advertising for you, so to look for replacing, you know, real city administrator in here, so, and also, can't forget, one more time, congratulations to Ellsworth Bearcats. Of course, my alma mater, Thomas Monarch boys are at the state tournament. My dad's alma mater, Victoria High School boys are at the state tournament, and my daughter is alma mater Oakley's at the state tournament girls, so.
Yeah.
Good basketball week, congratulations to all the kids, great for the towns. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to city council, Councilmember Allen.
I would just like to say thank you to everybody in the community that came out and supported the fire department, our annual pancake feed Saturday night. It was amazing turnout, went really well. Probably the best year we've had so far. So just thanks again for everybody that came out. That's all I've got.
Councilmember Moon.
Just like to say that the Grow Ellsworth annual meeting is on March the 25th at 6 o'clock, and I do believe it's right here in this building.
No, it's a rec center.
At the rec center. Okay, I do plan to go to that.
Yeah, get tickets, yeah.
Or pay at the door.
I think they want your.
Yeah, thanks to them.
In advance.
So they
but
make
you
that
can pay
food for
for
you.
it at the door. Yeah,
Okay.
so they have a head count for food.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Okay, Councilmember Bishop,
No.
Council President Heathman.
I just wanna say thank you to the chief, because he was willing to send a police car out the other night to welcome the girls back from sub-state basketball until he had a more pressing issue, so, but he was very willing to send a police car out there. Fire trucks and the sheriff's office came and welcomed us back, so, but he was willing, so I appreciate that, from him, for the community. That's it.
Councilmember Renard.
Yeah, how are we doing on figuring out that limb pot?
I reached back out to
It's been
Kate. He hasn't told us, I reached out to him last week and said, what are you gonna do, KDHE? Because they don't like that spot because it was a landfill one time. So I'm seeing like works through that.
Okay.
If not, they find something else, of course, you know, we'll still got the county one, but not in town. So I got it.
Cool. That's all I had.
Okay. All right, list. Okay. So, on my calendar, March 6th, which was last Friday, was Employee Appreciation Day, so I just want to give a shout out to all of the employees because I always say that the work that you all do is very thankless, so thank you to each and every one of you for everything that you do. Now, I don't think that this is the right group to ask this question to, but I'm gonna ask anyway. I was recently asked, who's in charge of the music downtown, especially at nights?
It's actually, Grow Ellsworth.
Okay,
In fact, they paid for a repair on it. I believe, Anita, it's in Anita's office.
okay,
I'll
I'll reach out to them.
It's Grow Ellsworth problem.
I don't know if it's a problem, people just think it's odd when like, no one's out, why is there still music tonight? But that's okay. Okay, and my last thing, as I'm going through committees that need, that are having members get off, like their term ends this year. I had to look at the bed tax committee, and so I was appointed onto that committee several years ago when I was just a council member. So my appointment ends 2027. Would you guys be okay if I completed my appointment through next year, or would you like me to appoint one of you to this year?
My interpretation of that, I looked at the way that the charter is set up, and I don't see any reason why she couldn't unless you don't want her.
No, you're good.
So, yes.
One more meeting. And the cool thing about that committee, I'll just explain to everybody, so you know, like, the hotel in town collects bed tax, so, you know, like Midway Extension District is a tax exempt organization, so we don't pay sales tax, but we still pay that bed tax. So then all of that money, this committee goes through and decides that people have to apply, and like the Historical Society has applied many times, hey, we've got this project. Could the bed tax committee give money towards that? So it's all about tourism. I think technically the committee is tourism, but, so it's a really neat committee, and I can't wait for one of you people to be on there in a couple of years. Okay, and that's all I had. So it looks like we've got a few executive sessions. So the first one, how long and who's to include?
Do I have anything in motion? Yeah.
Yes.
The mayor,
Oh, 10 minutes.
yeah, 10.
Pardon me, I missed the 10 minutes. Okay.
Let's push that to 15.
Okay. So
From
15.
Yeah, just because I think so, and I don't foresee any action afterwards, so, you know, I'm not gonna, you know. No, there's no action for either one of those afterwards, so let's leave and trust me on this one, there will be no action, I go. Get
How long
back
you
to me,
doing for the non-lifeguard?
probably 5,
Fine. And no action on that either.
no.
Okay, Madam Mayor, I move to go into executive session for preliminary discussion of the acquisition of real property relating to the sewer improvements project pursuant to KSA 75-431B6, and to include the mayor, city council, city attorney, and interim city administrator for 15 minutes, beginning at 6:34 and ending at 6:54. No, 6:49. Upon returning from,
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Council President Hanson, seconded by Councilmember Allen, to adjourn into executive session for preliminary discussion of the acquisition of real property relating to the sewer improvements project, for a total of 15 minutes beginning at 6:34. This will include the mayor, city council, city attorney, and interim city administrator. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Madam Mayor, I move the city council return from executive session where no decisions were made or no action was taken.
Second that.
It's been moved by Council President Hanson, seconded by Councilmember Renard, to come out of executive session where no decisions were made or no action was taken. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, next executive session. And you said 5 minutes is enough?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody want to make that motion?
Yeah. Madam Mayor, I move to go to executive session, to discuss personal matters of non-elected personnel for 5 minutes, beginning at, say, 6:51 And two, include the mayor, city council, city attorney, and interim city administrator as justification for the executive session is to protect the privacy of the employee's personal record pursuant to KSA 75-4319 subsection D subsection 1. The open meeting is to resume in this room at 6:56 PM.
I second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Allen, seconded by Councilmember Bishop to move into executive session to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel for 5 minutes, beginning at 6:51, to include the mayor, city council, city attorney, and interim city administrator. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign, motion passed.